What's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back to another episode, man. We're here for this special edition, man. We're talking to DaddyBall show and much, much more coming up today, man. We're talking Tennessee, we're talking NIL, we're talking the college football landscape. So y'all know what to do, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype the video. But we're gonna be right back, man, after this quick intro. Y'all know what to do. Subscribe to your boy. All right, what's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back, man. Excited to be here for this special edition Friday night show. But obviously, DaddyBall show, man. He is Travis Smith Jr.'s dad. And he going to give you guys, for all the parents that ask me, a different perspective, man. Some good insight and info that y'all need to hear, man. So without further ado, we're going to bring him on the show, man, and welcome him on.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's going on? Appreciate you coming on, family.
Nothing much, bro. How you been, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, man. I've been good. How you doing? How the family doing?
Man, blessed, bro. Blessed, bro. I can't even complain, man. About to get ready for this season. Daughter going to high school. Got a little one getting ready for first grade. So just busy times, man. All new chapters, bro. That's all.
That's it, man. So if you can, coach, just give a little bit of a background intro just on you, so people know who you are, man, and just how you've been able to, trek through life and been able to just raise great kids.
Absolutely, man. So first and foremost, man, I just want to give a first, all grace, all praise to God, man. Just being in a position to even communicate to the masses and people that follow you, that are influenced by you and the people that you may know. I am a former athlete, right? So, you know what I'm saying? I played collegiately. I played a little bit of, pro, semi-pro, but for the most part, I've always kind of been involved in sports environment, right? So coming from a military background with my dad, being in the military for 20 years, I've always kind of been influenced around that, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of trickled down and really impacted me to be the father I am now, right? So when we talk about the DaddyBall concept, and, a lot of people may have been wondering, like, okay, what is this DaddyBall meaning and things like that? I kind of, got the ground up and I started building everything around the DaddyBall concept when Travis started getting recruited, right? So, going into ninth grade, I think around that time frame, we started kind of dibbling and dabbling in different camps and going to the different recruiting camps and stuff like that. So fortunately, I was able to share that. I shared it with a lot of parents, a lot of people who were just kind of, really intrigued about how the process worked. So as things began to kind of really build up and, his recruiting started building up, a lot of people came to me and asked me questions from my perspective as a parent. Like, hey, man, like, what did you do when you ran into this situation? How did this happen with that? I shared a lot with my experiences with, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Coach Day, Ohio State. I'm naming various coaches that I've been around when Travis was getting recruited. But I think most importantly, this is more for the underdog. This is for the kids who don't really have the bells and whistles and the resources that a lot of these kids have at these big schools, right? With Travis going to Westlake, he didn't, initially have that alignment to go to Westlake. He was in a whole nother area. But for the most part, I wanted to kind of put this into a perspective where any parent, any person that may have kids that's getting to the next level or, having aspirations to get to the next level, where's that, platform for them to have a voice? So much is changing around us, you know what I'm saying? So many different rules and so many different, NCAA laws are changing around us. And it's a lot of questions that we don't have answers to. So the DaddyBall show is just really a building platform to help parents not only have a marketplace, but ultimately a voice to kind of really focus around some of the challenges that they've had. So for me, getting Travis to kind of help get to University of Tennessee, it wasn't easy. He had some things, some hiccups, just like a lot of other kids. But I think ultimately the goal was to really not make it about me and him. It's really about, I'm just like you. I'm just like this dad, this mom. And it's just really just allowing people to have that voice and that opportunity to say, hey, look, what are we doing when we run into these situations like this? What are we doing when we run into this situation like that? So I just want to be very high level and let people know, hey, man, this is not dad's talking about, hey, my son is this and he's better than that. No, it's just really more of a moniker and a phrase term, as you will, to kind of help people understand, hey, this is about ball, this is about sports. A lot of kids don't just play football, they play various sports, right? So it's a great opportunity to collaborate with you. You were one of the first people to do a story about Travis and, talk about him before he even really started blossoming out. So I just wanted to make sure people were aware that you're one of the vessels to kind of help kids get recruited, man. Kids get seen, help families understand what they need to do to start building that recruiting profile. So that's where I'm at, man. You know what I'm saying? This is not about me by any means necessary. It's really more just insight, enlightenment, and also, some type of, information, if you will, to help them get to the next level, bro. That's it.
And to your point, there is no other platform right now that I know of across the country that's doing that. That's a parent giving you game and insight on how to navigate, what to do, and how to go through this space. So, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, cool. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, just let me know. Everyone got
no doubt. Absolutely.
But going back to the story of Travis, just real quick, the recruiting, right? You talked about different things he had to go through. I remember it was a several schools highlighted, like you said, Ohio State, Georgia was in there, Tennessee, I believe Georgia Tech was in the race at one point too.
Right.
So what was that like as a parent as you're going to these OVs and you're trying to figure out, okay, how is this the best fit for my son? Not just on the football field, but for him as a man and what he's going to blossom to eventually as him being an adult.
Yeah, man. Good question right there, man. I'll say this, man. I start from kind of just the last part. I had the most fun in my life. I mean, I'm sure everybody in my family can vouch for this, man. There is you're not gonna have as much fun as going on these OVs and even these unofficials. It was I can't put it into words, bro. Just being in the opportunity to have, that visibility with people you see on TV on, CBS and ESPN day to day, and it all starts back from the essence of being that underdog, right? And you got a kid that's in the 7th, 8th grade, little scrawny kid like Travis. He was always athletic, but we needed to put him in the right opportunity, in the right, position so he can get seen. So to have the official visits was just more of what I envisioned. I remember times where he didn't even get an opportunity to make a 7-on-17. He was probably 13, 14. He was filling his body out. And I rest assured him, I just told him, I said, bro, like, I promise you, all these kids that's in front of you right now, all these kids that's getting seen and getting a little more, visibility in you, I promise you, eventually you're gonna be at the top of top of the mountaintop when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to rankings and things like that, which doesn't matter from a ranking perspective, but you want to continuously enlighten and build encouragement with your kids. So with that said, man, I just remember just going to these camps, bro. And I remember going to these camps, not having any name, not having no recollection or, hey, I don't remember this kid. It's just, man, Trav, look, I'm going to take off on work. It was some days I work remote at times. I was literally working in my car and then waiting on him to go to the next station so I can record him because, it was just sacrificing, bro. And I would always post it. I would put it on Instagram. I would put it on Facebook, every little clip. And I think when it all blossomed, it all really started really opening and breaking doors down when he did this FBU thing, man. And I'm a huge advocate of that group because FBU, with those guys, what they've done with the number of big names in the NFL, bro, I can't put it into words, bro, because as you get them into that 7th, 8th grade time frame before high school, if you do what you're supposed to do and you train and you get visibility to really show your skill set in those camps, I promise you, you will end up going to the national landscape and start competing with other kids that you'll be playing against. Perfect example. And I'll get back to the story. Justin Baker, running back at Tennessee right now. I had no idea when my son was in the 8th grade on Mother's Day. I was sitting right next to his dad. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, who's your son? He was like, yeah, my son's over there, Justin Baker. I'm like, okay, man, is that the kid from GFL? He's like, yeah, he's going to Buford. My son's right here. He's going to Westlake. Keep in mind now, this is like, in hindsight, they're going to be teammates later on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't write a better story than that. Then 2 years later, we're in Naples because he ended up doing well at the regional camp in Atlanta. I'm standing next to David Sanders' dad. I did not know who his son was. David Sanders, 5-star, #1 offensive lineman. And you can tell I'm excited about that, bro, because who would have thought 4 or 5 years later that they would be teammates at University of Tennessee?
Mm.
right? Everybody has a story, everybody, but you have to sacrifice. I don't care if it's time off, PTO, you got to, figure out a way to save money up to put them in these different camps. Some of those sacrifices are going to count and they're going to matter. So that all added up to him being able to have the recruiting and getting highly recruited by schools that we didn't even know saw him when he was in the 9th and 10th grade. They put the footage together, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, these kids are being captured in their 9th and 10th grade year at camps, and they're thinking, man, I didn't get an offer. Mom, Dad, they didn't even talk to me. I promise you, if you do what you need to do in high school, on the field, at your high school, wherever you are, you're going to go back one day on an OV, or even if it's, a preliminary visit, they're going to pull up film on you. We went through that so many times, bro, at Georgia, Bama. They were pulling up shit that Travis was doing. He was in 8th and 9th grade. It's like, remember this kid? I was like, Trav. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I say all that to say the OVs is one thing, bro. Build the storyline for your kids so they can understand that it does matter. You're not going to get that offer right away. You're not going to be able to have that person write about you and say he's the next best thing. You got to take it brick by brick, process by process, and everything else going to make sense, dog. So that's where we ended up coming, a top recruit as a receiver with everything else that we've done. And I'm just giving you high level, bro, because there's so many layers to it. But I seen it all, bro. I did it all with him. We've been through it all, bro. And the recruiting process it's a movie, bro. I promise you.
No, I know 100%. I believe that. And like you said, I know you went through the ups and downs, teams showing interest, teams not showing interest, the verbiage they use. So an element of that I want you to share, because I feel like you did it on the DaddyBall show and you brought up some great points.
Yep.
The negotiating piece. People don't realize, but it's in the contract pretty much you signing, the rev share, the NIL. Tell us kind of just how that works and how they can best fit these parents to know what to look for, what to do when they about to, hey, my kid's about to sign, where it makes sense and they don't, like you said, get screwed over.
Yeah, well, let's take a step back. Let's understand what we mean by negotiation, right? Because now we're in this landscape of NIL and rev share, right? So when Travis was getting recruited, you got to understand he was 2025. So many movements and changes were being done during that time frame for us to know the value of a 4-star or a 5-star receiver, right? So I'm going in there blindly, not knowing, okay, well, if you give me an offer for my son, what am I using that up against as leverage? Is it because he's leading in receptions? Is it because he's the #1 receiver in the state, the region, whatever? What formula am I going to use to be able to communicate that? Either you're going to be able to do that as a parent, or you're going to have some resource, third party, to come in and say, hey, look, this kid here is this, that, and the third. He is expecting X amount, right? And we're talking about dollar baseline amount, right? So to come into those situations, you have to understand what the landscape is right now. We're talking about 2026 now, 2027, so forth. What is the value of that position? What is the value of your actual ranking, or if you're even being recruited? And then also, too, I honestly feel when it comes to negotiation, you never take the first offer, right? We sat with all the sorts of schools, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Florida, you name them. Excuse me. And one of the things I had to learn was everybody has a different way of looking at where they're prioritizing your kid. Some kids are prioritized more. Tennessee was very aggressive with Travis. They were, aside from Georgia and aside from 2 other schools I won't name, they were the most aggressive and organized with kind of providing a structure of what they feel Travis's value is, right? So me being, I'm transparent with you, I'm just keeping it in the butt with you. Like, I didn't have anybody. The only person I will say this, and I'm going to mention them because he's a dear person I respect and I really admire his knowledge, was, Gary Downs, all right? Caleb Downs' dad. As we were getting highly recruited and Travis was going left and right, he gave me a lot of jewels. He gave me a lot of insight on, what to look for, what to expect. When Nick Saban had retired, Caleb DeBoer came in and started really being aggressive with Travis. So where are we looking at? How is he being valued as your recruiting board as a receiver, right? So that's where you got to look at it. And if I tell parents today, I'll tell them last year, I'll tell them next year, we're going through a different challenge right now where the NIL is not what it's perceived to be. So we think that a school is being endorsed by Nike. They're expected to make X amount of dollars, 6, 7 figures, but you have to make sure you have the proper resources involved to make sure these kids are getting paid appropriately if it's not going to impact the rev share, right? And I know you might have some questions about that, but I wanted to make sure you're aware. We didn't have that issue last year, bro. We didn't have the issue where we had to deal with the NCAA coming in and saying, hey, we got an NIL thing with the rev share piece. They're automatically going to get a certain amount of money based on their value. Before it's one stream that's going to pay that kid. All right. You may have a couple other. Yes. Now it's 2 buckets. You got the rev share piece and you got the NIL piece. So my communication to parents is going to be a little different than it would have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I was trying to figure out where my son would go or one of my people that I knew that I was trying to help, right? So it's a challenge, bro. It's a challenge, dog.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad you broke that down. Now let's break it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Share NIL. And the part that I want you to highlight that you just talked about was the perceived value, essentially. Yes. What is the perception on this value? Because that's going to matter in dollars. So what does that come down to? Is rev share more perceived value or is NIL more perceived value? How does that work?
That's a good point. It's ultimately NIL. However, the challenge is schools don't know what to do with certain third parties that are supposed to be funneling or paying kids through NIL, right? Let's say a school is flagshipped or contracted with a third party such as Adidas, right? And they're saying, okay, well, look, we have $1 million to give this kid over the next year. That $1 million is supposed to be broken down every month for the next 12 months, right? For that $1 million, right? What happens when you have to sign NIL Go and you have to sign other? It's not the same anymore. It used to be one third party. I told you before. You sign something, you sign all the paperwork, it goes to that third party, and they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay you. They're gonna pay. Go through your bank. Everything good. It's not like that no more now. Now it's a situation where the NIL piece is gonna be able to be the primary actual like bucket, right? And then the rev share piece is going to be on the back end because by default, every school is going to get a rev share. Every top Power 4 school, right? So I would advocate for kids and parents. Please hear me when I say this. And I know a lot of people are not going to like when I say this, especially programs. I would strongly advocate you to focus on getting the bulk of your money through rev share, not NIL. Unless they give you that money guaranteed and it's signed on the dotted line and you got the right agents or resources involved that can help make sure that money is given on time, I would strongly recommend you parents or you whoever's representing these kids to focus on the rev share piece, because what's going to happen is it's just like an NFL or any professional team. There's a cap space, right? So some kids are going to get more money based on rankings, based on prioritization on the roster, starting, so forth. So rev share piece is like, okay, Trav gonna get, you know what I'm saying, $750,000 based on rev share. However, you know what? We can actually pay you more. And I'm not speaking for Travis here, you know, and I say this openly. This is more just as an example. You know what? That's 750. Let's turn that into 900. We can give you an extra 150 if we give you half of that money through NIL. Okay? 450 through NIL, 450 through rev share. You see how I put in that extra 150 and it's going to sound intriguing. Instead of me, what would you do, right? Let's walk through this.
Yes, sir.
What would you do? What would you do? Hold on one second. What would you do if you were in a situation where you were a top athlete, right? And your attorneys, your agents came to you and they said, hey, man, the school just came and told us they can give you an extra $150,000 if you accept the NIL contract in conjunction with the rev share contract, not just rev share. Because normally a lot of kids would just accept the rev share. They would take the 750, right? They would take the 750 and not even deal with NIL, right? If they knew that, right? What's happening is every school has an NIL bucket. They have a rev share bucket. By default, you're going to say, well, damn, I want to get an extra 150, right? Why not get the extra 150 on top of that 750? Okay, great. Well, we'll get the paperwork over to you. We'll get all the third parties that are involved in the NIL piece. We'll have them start putting together a formula to pay you that 450 from Adidas or Nike and whatever third party. And then the other 450 is going to come for rev share. The money's not, but the problem is, bro, and I know this is a little intriguing and kind of like thrown off because it's a shit show right now. A lot of kids are not getting paid on time or within a timely fashion through NIL because these big companies have bit off more than they can chew. They have not been able to get the money from donors to help support the NIL within a timely manner. I can't name them. I can't give you details on that respectfully. However, there are kids that have been waiting months and months to get paid from NIL because this is a donor bucket, right? The donors help establish the base of NIL. The rev share shit, that's already cut in stone. That's in NCAA already got that lockdown, but they shook it up and they, excuse my language, they screwed up the process when they gave schools the opportunity to do a split between rev share and NIL. Right? So that's why I would tell you, if you're an athlete, if I would tell a parent, and I know people don't like when I say this, especially from the program perspective, I would take the rev share, bro. Until they figure out a way to make sure kids are going to be met and the contracts are not breached, bro, I would make sure my kids get paid on time and I would stick to rev share. Even if I'm taking a loss, even if I'm losing $100,000, now is that the cat's out the bag now, bro. These kids, a lot of these kids ain't getting paid on time, dog, when it comes to the NIL perspective, because the donors have to figure out a way to continue to establish the base of that money to those kids. And it's not happening in a timely fashion. It's just not. Would I have said that to you last year when my son was getting ready for his freshman year, or when my homeboy son and some other people? No, I would be like, man, look, it's only once. It's this how much it is right here. We good to go. Ever since the rev share thing got involved and the NIL had to kind of separate from third parties per se, that's when things got a little tricky for how kids are going to be getting paid within a timely and in an organized fashion. It's not the same way. You know, I can't name the groups that I'm speaking of, but I'm just saying I can tell you at least a dozen kids right now that are still waiting for funds from the NIL. And I don't want that to overshadow my conversation with you, but I want you to understand, if parents and people going to be looking at this shit, man, they need to understand, don't get all buzzy and fuzzy eyed when they throw that number at you. You need to find out, where is this money coming from? Who's the person that's going to be paying in a timely fashion? Okay, well, show me how that's being validated. What third party is involved? What, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not the same conversation that I've had with anybody a year ago or 2 years ago. It's a lot of layers to it, dog. You feel me?
I feel you, man. That's an insightful answer. Okay, so last thing, we'll move on from it, because like I said, we don't want it to be a part of the whole discussion.
Exactly.
What does a parent do if they cannot get paid, though? Now, I ain't talking rev share. I'm talking specifically NIL. Like, hey, this is what we signed for, and I ain't been paid in months, or I ain't received the payment. What they gonna do?
Man, what can you do?
Wow.
Like, what can you do? Like,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta think about it, man. These are kids, bro. They've never seen this money in their life, dog. They don't know how to like assess that type of like expectation and then still be able to not necessarily perform, because yeah, true enough, you still get paid. But what happens when you don't get paid in a timely fashion and you waiting? You have to make sure it is.
Let's be real. It's like that's like you work a job and oh, we're gonna wait a month to pay you. I got bills.
Bruh. That's what I'm saying. And there are people out here right now that will tell you there are other means and other ways that these kids are being compensated to stop the bleeding. Not all of them. Not all of them. I'm not saying it's an NCAA infraction or law rule breaker here. I'm just saying, dog, like if you are a parent and you're trying to figure out how your kid can get paid, how your kid is going to be in a position to get paid in a timely fashion, and it's been months and months, I hope that you have had your ducks in a row. You hope you've had your financial advisors, not necessarily your advisor, your agents, those third-party resources involved to make sure the foot is on the gas with the NIL, GMs, or whoever's involved in the program. They got to be the ones that's going to be facilitating and saying, hey, man, I just talked to such and such. Looks like next week you should be getting those funds. Because it's not going to work out properly, and it's not going to be the most formal way to do it as a parent if you're doing it. So I'm advocating people to have some professional, verified resources to help them with this procedure, bro. And don't be the one that's always being the one picking up the phone, figuring out. The coaches don't know, bro. The coaches know, but they don't know. So if you're talking to your position coach about it, they don't know. You know what I'm saying? They oh shit, I didn't know. I mean, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know you want your money, bro. Let me talk to my people real quick. They have no idea. They trying to keep their job, dog. They're trying to make sure they have a winning record for the year of 2025, 2026, 2027. The money thing is just like any program, right? Just like any program. Go talk to the GM about it, bro. Talk to the NIL resources about it to figure out what's going on. But don't be the parent that's thinking that you're the facilitator and the communicator behind it. If you're not a validated agent or a resource that's involved in that process that can, articulate that effectively, it's not going to help you, dog. It's not, unfortunately.
Hey, 1,000 words of worth of game right there, man. I hope y'all tuned in. We got 8 people live right now. I hope y'all getting the gab, man. That was, you put me on game because I didn't even know that's how it was going down, brother. So
yeah. Some people may not be able to relate to it because they may be getting paid.
Right.
Every school may be differently, but I'm just saying, a lot of these kids are not getting paid on that other bucket because the donors and the money, they don't have it yet.
Nope.
They don't have it yet.
Nope.
That's just what it is. There you go. I hope I'm not ruffling no feathers, bro. I'm a straight shooter, dog.
That's it. You keep it 100. I respect it, man. That's why we brought you on, man. Respect it.
No doubt, dog. No doubt.
Shifting gears.
Yeah.
Let's talk Travis. All right. Let's talk upcoming season just a little bit. How do you feel? I've said it. I feel like this is the best wide receiving core in the SEC. Coach, you might disagree with me. You might be like, nah, it's the best receiving core in the country. I wouldn't disagree with that either. Why, though, it's not getting the same amount of love? And why are players like Braylon Staley, Travis Smith Jr., Rodarius Jackson, like, why are they not getting the love that they deserve as some of the top guys when you had nearly 2 1,000-yard receivers last year? I just want to get your thoughts on that, Coach.
Yeah, really 3, because, big shout out to Chris Brazel, now with the Carolina Panthers, led the SEC in receptions last year. You see what he did against Georgia. You see what he did against some of the top schools in the country. And then, of course, Mike Matthews, big shout out to Mike. And, of course, Braylon. Braylon, SEC player, freshman SEC player of the year, might I add. He was a red shirt, so he came in with Mike, but just blew it out the water, man. I don't know, bro. I really don't get it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of almost connected to the NFL notion as well. Like, the offense is not pro style, you know what I'm saying? It's not translatable for kids to be an impactful player in the NFL. So it seems like it trickles down to the notion or the perspective of kids at Tennessee, but it's far from the truth, bro. Because when we talk about the core of that room, there are a lot of great receiver rooms in the country. We obviously know Ohio State. We obviously know Oregon. We know, you know what I'm saying, Ole Miss. We know Texas. I can name a lot of them. Florida. But when I talk about top to bottom, in my opinion, bro, I ain't seen one better than Tennessee in the SEC, in my opinion, because you haven't seen the other ones. You've seen Braylon. You've seen Mike, right? But when you dibble into adding in Travis and Rodarius and Tristan Keys, these are guys like wide receiver, and they're gonna have to thug it out on who's gonna be that third guy. I don't know how Tennessee gonna do that, I know Tristan is a freshman. They're not really known to play freshmen, even if they are 5-star. They didn't play Mike a lot the first year,
They didn't.
right? They did not play. Mike was a 5-star. They should have played him, but they didn't play him. What are they going to do this year to really combine and utilize all those kids? Because the most productive receivers in the SEC from the three top guys normally come, the past year was Tennessee. You had Chris, he had over 1,100 yards. You had Mike, he had over 800. And of course, Braylon had over 800. Are they going to be able to have an offense where they can utilize an extra one or two guys, where maybe 5 or 6 guys can get 40 plus receptions instead of 60 plus for 3? I don't know. I'm just speaking from, I'm not even speaking from a fan. I'm speaking from just knowledge of trends and patterns. So I think, to answer your question and ending up from there, I think it becomes just the fact that, the politics of the production of a receiver going into the NFL. Cedric Tillman, great receiver, has not been the most productive in the NFL. Jalen Hyatt hasn't made any progress, let alone any opportunity with the Giants. And then, Dante Thornton, as of recent, playing with the Raiders. So it's like, when they look at that, it's like, well, they're only just doing this in college. But the same shit that they do in Tennessee, they're doing at Ohio State, they're doing at Texas. Why can't they still get the same reputation rather, and the same, accolades as a kid from those big schools? I don't know. I think it's politics, bro. I don't know.
I do too. I do too. Because you can't tell me coming into the season, like I said, name me a better wide receiver core. They have the most depth from top to bottom. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
I didn't even mention Joakim Dotson. He ran back one in the he's a freshman too. Now he's about to be a sophomore. He ran back one against Illinois. This a talented, shifty kid. I'm giving all props to all these kids, bro. I just know when you talk about the strength and conditioning coach that came there from Indiana, he didn't turn these kids' bodies around, dog. Like you talking about, they measure the metrics and the analysis and the analytics and stuff like that. They do something totally different than what they did last year. So you're seeing the strength, you're seeing the body fat, you're seeing the vert increase, the 40 increase. It's kind of scary, bro, to see what these kids are doing this year and what they're gonna do. I just hope that the kids that have the opportunity to be utilized are going to be utilized effectively. If they are, then let the critics keep talking. But I think the receiving core this year is better than last year. Easily. Travis 6'4", 215. Rara 6'2 and a half, 210. Tristan Keys 6'2", 200. And then you got the 2 returning receivers who was top 5, top 6 receivers in the SEC. Mike and Braylon. Bro, what you want them to do? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, fall camp coming up, man. I think Trav locked in. He just trying to lock it in, dog. I ain't never seen him so determined and really lock in and just be that guy. It's gonna be scary, bro.
Scary on Saturdays.
I'm telling you, bro. No doubt.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this from a fan perspective. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. What do you feel like is gonna get Tennessee over the top? When I say that, like when you look at this team this year, what's the area they got to be good in for them to get to where they want to go, which is back to a CFP playoff, deep, making a run? Is it quarterback? Is it Faison? Is it defense? Like, what do you think?
Right. And we didn't even mention Faison and George. No. Like, that's the big buzz. And what I noticed with Tennessee, they have especially like, the writers and people who kind of speak for the media. It's like they are concerned so much about one position for the whole off season, and then that ends up exceeding expectations. Last year, we lost a lot of receivers before the season started. Look what happened. That was the notion of the conversation. Dante left. Caleb Webb, and I'm naming about 3. Squirrel White went to Florida State. I'm naming people who left, and then you only had one returning starter, right? So I'm just trying to let you know, I don't think the quarterback situation gonna be our problem, dog. I think Tennessee's gonna be fine, whether it's George or whether it's Faison Brandon. Faison Brandon is physically more ready. 6'4", 225. He's a freshman. That's crazy. But the type of offense that Coach Hyper runs, if you are an efficient quarterback and you have a high IQ, your offense is gonna buzz. It's gonna hum. So the quarterback thing is not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is those players in the trenches, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? That we were Tennessee was terrible last year on the run. You know what I'm saying? You see what Oklahoma did to us at home last year. You know, I can name 3 or 4 games. Hell, even Arkansas. So I'm looking at it from my angle. The defensive back position is gonna be big. I know for a fact with Kane there, and you know what I'm saying, of course, Redmond and Ty Redmond and them, you know what I'm saying? I'm naming just a few kids, secondary, they're gonna ball out. I got a strong feeling they're gonna really regroup from this year, especially led by, you know, sophomore Ty. Shout out to Ty Redmond. But man, the trenches, dog. Who's gonna be that? Who's gonna be that alpha male that's gonna dominate? Chaz Coleman's not here. I don't even, you know, he's gone. He was supposed to be that alpha guy on the edge to create havoc. Who's gonna replace that and be that guy that can, you know, really build momentum for the defense? I'm just curious to know. That's the biggest concern I have, dog. For real.
Okay. So
what you think though? Like, you tell me what I mean. You do your research. What are you thinking about? Who's what position or what area is your biggest concern that has to really make and help Tennessee get over the hump?
Great question, because I actually covered Tennessee on my channel. So appreciate you, Smokey, for tapping in. Travis is gonna ball this year. Yes, sir. We're speaking into existence.
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
For me, when I look at this team, I'm with you, right? Like all the attention's gonna go Faison or George, right? To me, bro, go Faison. You're hypo, coach. You've done this before. Nico Maliava was a freshman. You won 10 games. This is nothing new. Let him take the ups and downs. He's more talented. He's gonna be able to figure it out eventually. You roll with the punches, right?
Right.
Offensively, I want to see what some of the changes, right? Can David Sanders? He was a little nicked up last year.
Yeah.
Be the guy this year, right?
Let's go.
Let's heard. You know what I'm saying? How will the interior of the offensive line look? Because you got some guys in the backfield. You got Deshaun Bishop. You know what I'm saying? You replaced the you know, but you got some guys coming in there. Javin Gordon had a good spring.
Right.
Because then you got these defenses guessing, oh, they're gonna run or throw it, right?
Yep.
You can stack that box. It's too many, it's too many gazelles on the outside.
That's right.
You know? So I want to see this offensive line take the step forward. Because I feel like you said, sometimes in the trenches, games they struggled, they weren't imposing that will. You got to impose that will offensively. And I'm with you defensively, coach. Who's gonna be the guy? Right? It's a little bit concerning, right? Because I feel like athletically, you got the backers, right? Yeah. You still got Aaron Carter coming back. You got some pieces there. But can you create pressure? Right? Because the secondary's there, coach. You just said it. We didn't even talk about Edris Farouk.
Secondary is deep.
Right? We didn't talk about Sidney Walton. We didn't talk about some of these guys going to be playing some roles this year.
No.
But if they do their job, coach, can the defense get there? Because you can only cover for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't talking about Dylan. Dylan looks like he's going to be a beast this year. I think D-Lou going to be a beast this year. They just got to give him an opportunity to showcase what he's really going to be able to do.
Right,
you know, in the back, and I just know that's going to be something that they can figure out. We got a new defensive coordinator, man.
Yep.
You know, Penn State.
Yeah.
The notion was he struggles his first year. You know what he did with Ohio State when he's defensive coordinator. I just don't know if that's still going to carry weight. I think with the type of talent and the type of kids that are still there from the previous year, he's going to be fine. I think, we just got to really show up. Aaron Carter's back. He's healthy. Last time I saw, he jumped 47-inch vert. Aaron Carter's he's a linebacker. and they measure him at 40. He jumped 47 inches vert. Like, you're a linebacker. This is all
Right.
stuff they measure now. Like, this is all like intel that I know.
Yeah.
Athleticism, and I'm glad. I hope I think he had issues with his turf toe. Linebacker situation in the trenches, dog. Who's gonna be that alpha in defensive line? Who's gonna be that guy? I know Aaron
Period.
Carter. As long as he stay healthy, we're gonna be fine. But they got a tough schedule, bro. They got like the ninth. Is it the sixth or ninth toughest schedule in the country?
Yeah.
You got LSU coming. You got Texas
Come
coming.
on.
You got
Texas.
Bama coming.
Come on. Come on now.
Woo! Boy,
Hey, you better be ready.
hey,
Gotta be ready.
this is where you get your money at now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting, dog. You know what I'm saying? But I think that kind of answers where we are right now. Defensively, bro, that's where they need to really show what we can do. I think offensively they'll be fine. Nico didn't
Right.
do anything his first year when he started in regards to making it to the playoffs. He was a great manager,
Game
but
manager.
our
Let's be real. It's game
game
manager.
man, great game manager. We made it to the playoffs.
Right.
He didn't even throw but barely 2,600 yards, if that.
Exactly. Exactly.
He did what he needed to do to keep the, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But now it's a little deeper than that now. We got a little more, we got a little more offense that's more pro related. You see a lot of guys moving in motion, a lot of guys, kind of moving around to kind of throw off the defense. So it's not the same what you think it was back in 2024 and hell, even 2025 from time to time. They're making a lot of adjustments that really throw the defense off. So offense is gonna be fine, bro. I don't see that as a concern.
Nope. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. We on the same parallel. I think the same thing. I think it's defensive trenches as well. And
Absolutely, bro.
got to do something. All right.
No
So we talked
doubt.
about Tennessee. Let's go. Let's let you sound off a little bit on this college football as a whole, right? So
Yeah.
you're in here. I got to get your thoughts on the 5 for 5, the one-time transfer. How do you feel about that? Are you for it, against it? I've heard kind of ambivalent feelings on it. Some are for it, some are against it. Like, how do you feel about that 5 for 5 rule and only one transfer? And what do you think about that? Maybe even for Travis, because he technically redshirt last year, but now with
Yeah,
only
and
years
that's the
left.
thing. That's the thing. Like he couldn't. He missed the mark for redshirting because he had the hairline fracture. So after the Arkansas game, he's already playing on a hairline fracture. He missed the cut on that as far as that goes. But anyway, when we think about just giving a kid one time to transfer, are you talking about like just giving a kid one time frame during the year to be able to transfer before spring ball? Is that what you're talking about?
Nah, just the one time in general. Like, they can only do them once in their career, and
Oh
then
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
not still out a year. Yeah, how do you get your thoughts on that?
I don't like it, dog.
Okay.
I don't like it because I think you can get one. Give him one more opportunity. You don't know, bro. Like, it's too many iffies and two uncertainties about the transferring situation. I
Mm,
don't agree with kids jumping from school to school when they run into a little adversity. I don't. But there are too many situations that happen with kids that I've seen that I'm testament of. Hell, even when I was playing, I didn't have a portal. You feel me? But living in a situation where you're seeing it in actual live real time, that one time the transfer is great, right? But at the end of the day, what happens if are you able to get some type of appeal to transfer again if a coach gets fired or um, something happens where the school is um, put into some type of infraction with the NCAA and it impacts your ability to do things you need to do as a player? I don't know, bro. Like, you tell me, because I'm still new to this. I don't understand why, because it literally just happened
yeah.
recently. So a lot of this stuff is still new to me, but I'm just trying to understand from your perspective, as you do media more than I do, but I'm from a parent aspect. Where do you feel is the biggest challenge to just have one transfer window?
I
or
think
is
the
it?
no, I do. I think it's challenging because, like you said, you're gonna have to basically hit on that next spot that you go to, right?
Right.
And I think the only thing they're allowing is if like military service, I think pregnant, and I think it's like like a family death or something. I think those might be the only three like you can maybe kind of swiggle around the rule. I believe outside of that, like there's no wiggle room after that first one. So to me, to your point, it's a little bit hard. And when you go to, I give you a great example. He just played for Tennessee, Colton Hood. He transferred, I think it was 2 or 3 times, but
Auburn and then Colorado and then
Colorado.
Tennessee.
But you see, he hit on Tennessee. He in the NFL now, right?
Damn
So
near first rounder.
come on now, damn near first rounder. He had a great year this year for Tennessee,
Yeah, he
right?
is. Yeah.
So to your point, I do feel like it's unfair. I'm with you. I think it should be two. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Two,
it.
clip it, man. You shouldn't be transferring more than 2 times in your career. You just shouldn't.
No,
It's
you
only
shouldn't
five
be.
years. You shouldn't be transferring more than that many times, in my opinion.
So
Like you said, everything is not white and gray in the portal. Like there's things that happen. Coach may give you a false promise. Playing time, you don't get the playing time. You just don't know. You trust him.
even a neck injury. Let's say you have a neck injury that impacts your rotation. You know what I'm saying? Depth chart. It happens all the time, dog.
Right.
One tweak injury could change the whole trajectory of your draft stock, your
Mm,
playing time,
right.
your relationship in the room with your position coaches, with your head coach. They never want to admit it. But when kids get hurt from time to time and they are climbing up to be the guy or the next man up, and then they take a step back due to an injury, what do you do when you're not in the position when you got another kid that's coming from the portal that's gonna get in front of you because you've had an injury? Now you're back to square one. And I'm not talking about the kids that have started for the first, second year. I'm talking about a kid that's on the cusp of starting and then they have an injury, right? It
Right.
happens, right?
Right.
Why not give a kid an opportunity to transfer and utilize a medical red shirt so he can be in a position where he has a new, fresh set of eyes on him from a head coach or from a position coach? Because
Mm,
coaches change up, dog.
they do.
Coaches switch up on you, bro. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
they do.
When the room, when the facility is not excited about you anymore,
Mm,
you need to be concerned about that, dog. When the facility is not buzzing about you and they're not like in awe about you and really trying to make sure you're that guy, you got to get the hell on. But what if you can't? Because now you got just this one transfer rule. I seen kids transfer and their lives change for the better, bro. Right? I seen kids transfer, and you have too, who they'll transfer and then some shit happen on the next school. They finally get their best opportunity with that third school, that second
mm,
transfer. I know it. I know people be like, no, you need no, bro. It's not the same, bro. There's
right.
nothing wrong if you run into a situation where you're not given a fair opportunity to utilize and showcase your skill set and your ability to make plays. You just gonna sit on the bench and just be depth? That's a tough one. But what can we do? Now we're in a position now where it's just one opportunity to leave, and that's it.
Right.
And that one window is frustrating too, because why do that was another thing. Like you, and I don't know if it changed. You may know more than I do. Why give a kid the window to transfer, you know what I'm saying? Like right around the spring ball area. Like you cannot transfer after spring ball. Like let's say during spring ball, you're not even getting no looks, you're not
No
even
rep.
getting no opportunity. You can't leave now. You gotta wait for a motherfucker to get hurt or some shit to happen, from a behavioral perspective. What do? You cannot transfer after spring ball. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's a situation that we need to be able to really pay attention to. Like you can't. Excuse my lighting, man. Like I really didn't know how to do this. I should have did this thing where I had the background. You know what I'm saying? But
All
I
good.
ain't even know how to do that. You got to show me how to do that.
I got you. For
Yeah.
sure. Definitely show you one of these days, man.
But no, but the two is good, bro. I think the two
Yeah,
will work.
yeah. I think the two is the best, man. I just feel like there's so much that can happen, man, and you don't know what the opportunities the coaches, like you said. I think should be also in there. The coach leave, like coaches leaving 1 or 2 years, they gone.
Oh, I've seen that happen too.
Come on,
I've seen that happen
I'm
too.
supposed to stay here. When the new and then think about this: the new coach staff might not even like me.
Might not like me. Might
They
not
don't
think
want me.
he didn't even like me when he was at the other school.
Right,
He was recruiting me. I ain't even like him.
right.
He's supposed to just magically change, and now he's no. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Pay attention to the room. I said this on my video the day before yesterday. Don't get anxiety and get all nervous and shit. Read the room, bro.
Right.
Like you got to read the room on like how they're like really trying to mentor and include you and get you involved in various schemes and set. If they're not really like on your ass about it, yeah. But what do you do when you probably already transferred?
Mm.
The transfer portal is cooked, dog. It's cooked, bro. There's no way that I can sit here and tell you that a kid that transfers one time because whatever reason, he may run into another. He's not going to run into another situation at his next school.
Mm.
There got to be something that can give them the opportunity to be maybe at a second school.
I agree.
You know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I wanted you to understand. I don't know if you looked this up though, but like with this Scores Act thing that they're doing, man, like Ted Cruz and all these government officials and stuff like that. Nick Saban and all these guys are really trying to join forces to really put together a collective bargaining or some type of cap for the NCAA where basically kids are going to be on salary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that's the bigger question that people need to understand what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, if not sooner. You know, the SEC and the Big Ten, the biggest two conferences, they don't want it to happen because it's taking away, rights with TV, broadcasting and shit like that. But that's something that I hope that people start paying attention to as well. Because if they start putting together a salary cap where, their kids are on wage, now you got to have a whole nother conversation about kids being on some type of wage as opposed just being paid for, their skill set and being in a position to go to a top tier school. That's the bigger question we need to have, you know?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you. I know you mentioned on your show a lot the Scores Act. Glad you
Yep.
brought that up. So, what's your standpoint? I know you said that's the question we need to talk about. What's your standpoint on it? Are you for it or against it? Obviously, you see in the NFL they have collective bargaining. You see what the players get paid. Do you think we can get a model like that, similar to that?
I think,
Yep.
no, that's what I was going to say. I think they can, but I just think that it's so many politics involved in it because you got the two biggest conferences that are not in full agreement with that. Okay. CBS no longer is with SEC. They're with the Big Ten. ESPN, they kind of got partnerships with them. Why am I mentioning those? Because that's $1 billion industry right there. When you talk about teams getting publishing rights and being broadcasted at a certain time and so forth. So anytime you bring that term up and you talk about, when Nick Saban's meeting with, Trump and Ted Cruz and all these various people, it's not just about, well, I don't think my son or these kids should be on some type of salary cap. I think it's more or less the actual directors and the people that are behind the scenes of these conferences. They're the ones that don't want to get it done. They want to keep it as is, and they want to figure out a way to fine tune and basically build a more fluid process for the kids to have a certain bucket amount of money, right? Offensive linemen, quarterback, receivers, DBs, all the positions, and then go from there. These rev share guys, the guys who are billionaires, they're going to continue to do what they need to do to try to assist on the NIL aspect of it, but it's pushing back. The NCAA is pushing back on having booster clubs, and third
Yeah.
party guys provide and give them money. So if you get the other situation involved where I talk about the Scores Act, where there's kind of like this, you know, collective bargaining thing and all that type of shit, you're never going to run into a situation where things are going to be smooth and, you know, no issues. The SEC is never going to let that happen, and the Big Ten is never going to let that happen. They're not. They're not. It's a bigger concern, and I did want to make sure you're aware. If you're not up on it, make sure you guys follow athletes.org. Athletes.org is pretty much like a union for college athletes. So you know how you have your NFL union, NBA union? No, athletes.org. Look it up. They have put together and facilitated a group of strong leaders to help protect kids when they are being in positions where they're either not getting money financially, contractually. They need counseling, they need therapy. They need to figure out what the next steps to do from other legalities. Athletes.org is a union for college players, which has never been done before. So I want y'all to follow athletes.org. I'm a part of that parent group, and you know that's what it is.
There it is. As y'all can see right here, man. Y'all go, because I was asking that too. Like right now, I don't know of any unions that are speaking in behalf, but you've answered that question for me today, Coach, in terms of where parents, athletes can go to, and obviously this is the biggest one.
That's it.
Okay, there it is, man.
Athlete.org.
Sure. All right, perfect. Now, I know it's getting dark on you, Coach, man, so I won't keep you
No
much
problem.
longer. I know we've been talking for about an hour, close to.
Yeah.
But before I let you ride, I got to throw it to you, man.
Yeah.
Any questions you got for me, or any topic? Because I wanted you to sound off on college football, the whole landscape. Any
Yeah.
topic today that we did not cover that you wanted to talk about or hit on for the people to know before I let you get out of here.
No, man. I just hope that everybody, you know, is um, just keeping a positive attitude and just supporting their kids or whoever they may be helping when it comes to these sports, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. Just continue to support them and mentor them, put the right people around them that can help them kind of facilitate and make the right decisions from time to time. A lot of times parents don't have the right answers, but if you continue to will yourself to put the right people around them, they'll have that third outlet, if you will, to help them, you know, get through some of the challenges that they have, because this is not the same challenge that I went through in, you know, the early 2000s, man. These kids are going through a lot of things behind the scenes, and how is that impacting their mental, right? So mental health is a big thing, and I just want people to just understand there's more important aspects of life than sports. um, I think it's well over 60-70% of, you know, athletes after sports in college, even professionally, go through some type of form of depression. So work on it now, man. The earlier you work on it, the earlier you understand that it's deeper than just the sports, and you put the right people around them. I guarantee you they'll be in a better position to transition away from the game they love, man. And that's the best I can tell you, dog.
There it is, man. Spoken in the flesh, man. Before we let them go, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe, man. Go follow Coach, man. He doing some great stuff on the Daddy
Yep.
Ball Show on Instagram, man. He got a whole bunch of different content that he's doing. So y'all please go support. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he's doing, man. He's trying to give the parents, you know what I'm
That's
saying,
right.
these different outlets they can go to with knowledge. Like I said, I learned a lot from Coach today. Giving me
That's
knowledge
right.
about the game and how everything works, man. So y'all please go shoot him a follow. Daddy Ball Show on IG.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro, man. Go follow the page, man. Daddy Ball Show, man, right now. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Be safe, man. Talk to y'all soon. Appreciate
Oh, my bad. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. All right, man. There it is, man. Coach Smith, man. Coach Travis Smith Jr.'s dad, man, gave y'all the real today. So we're gonna be putting out some of the things he talked about, some of the real, obviously all the things he talked about to help out the parents, man. You're not gonna get it like that anywhere else, man. Nowhere else you're gonna find you know what I'm saying, that out of how to navigate this space, man, and all the nuances. They don't give you that. They have you almost go in it blind, man. So I'm glad he was able to come on today and give you the game, give you the spiel, man. That's why he come on the show, man. So appreciate it. Y'all know we cover Tennessee on the channel, man. So we're gonna try to get more parents on the show. Just talk about the, you know what I'm saying, the season, what's going on with Tennessee, man, and much more, man. So y'all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video. We're gonna have more great guests on throughout the season. All right. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, as always, Peace and love.